First off, rest in peace, neighborhood Nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, B. Cannon, Bethel High School, by way of Three Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, based over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the Three Man Weave.
Welcome back, good people. As you know, we are here, your favorite guys from your favorite pod, your favorite pod's favorite pod, the Three Man Weave podcast. You know, I'm one of your hosts with the most, your guy B. Cannon. And who I got with me this week?
You already know what it is. You got your boy AJ, Mr. I ain't got nothing on me today. Psych, I'm just playing. I've been drinking. If you can't tell by the glow. So this might be a fun one today.
Hey, you was running the Dolo last week, man. You held it down.
Hey, man, you know, I try. I feel like I might be the only member of the Three Man Weave podcast who has done solo episodes, and I feel like I've done it quite a couple times.
You have. Because, boy, I'm going to tell you, just watching you is tough, man, and kudos to you. Hats off, because I can. If y'all not coming, I'm not going to play. It'll have to really be something epic going on in the world of sports or in the world of, you know,
Negroes
of our sphere of living that we focus on. And so if it was something like that, then maybe, you feel me, but nah, I ain't getting in there, Dolo.
I'm telling you, man, hey, when you do this thing by yourself, it gives you a whole new appreciation for actually having people there to have the conversation. Because think about, like, we be talking for like an hour 15, hour 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So just think, like, well, I was getting a minute 45. Like, hey, shit, I'm finna wrap this motherfucker up, boy. Because and then also for me, I already don't listen back to our episodes because I hate to hear, it's like the thing. Like, I hate to hear the sound of my voice, and I critique myself so hard. Boy, when I tried to listen to one of the episodes I did by myself before, cut that bitch immediately off.
Honestly, not as bad as you think, man. It's honestly pretty impressive, because I'm just thinking one thing, when nobody else is there to respond, you could start this getting too wild with your takes. Not you personally, but I feel like if you get too deep in your own thoughts, you feel what I'm saying? You might just get carried away with your takes. So that's one of the reasons why I love having co-hosts, is because it's like a checks and balance system. You feel me? Sometimes when your co-host say something, you be like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. That'll give you a good parameter of where you should be at. But hey, you do a good job, like I said, of going Dolo.
But
staying on topic, man.
But that's the thing. I know how dangerous it is for me to just be here with my own thoughts. So that's why I be like, hey, bro, I really like, because I really be wanting to go here. But I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
this is a group effort, and I don't want them to come back and it be nothing. So I'm like, come back this way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but nah, man, it's just, I really do think that all of us should do a couple episodes by ourselves, because I think it's a really good way, because I feel like you and Hill would probably watch back. It would be a good way to kind of see how you navigate all of your conversations and all of your topics, and how you in general podcast and handle a show. And I think after that episode, I told y'all, like, because there was some great conversation I feel like we could have had. Especially, I feel like, I did the Justin Herbert tangent.
Yeah.
But I feel like we all have something to say on that. And we all have different stuff to bring on that. So I feel like that would have been a good conversation for us to have.
Definitely.
But before we get started, this is my problem when I start drinking. This is why I shouldn't do episodes by myself. I'm rambling. But make sure that you follow us on
Yes,
Instagram
sir.
and Twitter at 3manweave_. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up button. I see y'all trickling in. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button. This thing right here. You know, we ain't got no manners for no sluts. We just put our so make sure. Hey, I really wish y'all would listen to me. Would y'all please like email us some questions one day? Like, y'all used to it in the beginning. Y'all don't fuck with us no more. Like, email us your questions. Matter of fact, you ain't even got to email us your questions. Y'all have like literally direct contact with us.
Yeah, fact.
Let us literally let us know some topics that you want us to discuss. And once again, it does not have to be sports.
Yeah,
It literally can be any topic that you'd be like, hey, this should be a good ass conversation for us to have. Or I'd be like, hey, I want to know what they think on this. Or you know what? AJ a fool. He gonna probably say some dumb shit about this. I want to know what he got to say. Or you know what? Cannon probably don't like this shit. So I want to know what Cannon got to talk about. So email us your questions at podcast.3.man.g. No,
not we.
podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram or Twitter. Send us the questions. And you in the fucking group, most likely, if you hear, hey, be like, hey, talk about this on the pod. You can even post or something and say, hey, make sure y'all talk about this on the pod. Because I know
you just post it in a group and say, talk about this.
Because a lot of stuff that we talk about in a group, we give our comments and we give banter back and forth, but we don't get to deep dive in the comments because ain't nobody finna type all that. If you really want to hear us deep dive some shit,
and they're not finna listen, bro.
Oh, nobody fucking listens in the fuck. Yo, nobody listens, man. That's the most frustrating shit. It's the most frustrating shit.
Yep, and then everybody just assumes everybody's upset. I'm gonna tell you like this: even when you're in a rare case when you are the one upset, the other person is probably not. Like, listen, it's just Facebook. Nobody takes it that serious. Most times people, when they have free time or a light day or something, that's when they engage with that stuff. So it's like, I see sometimes people on there get very upset, and I'm just laughing like they get the name calling and taking it that serious. It's like, look, and I feel people too, because you know we got the pull-up policy. So after a certain amount of disrespect, absolutely, like, but it's fun and games for the most part. Like, as long as we keep it clean, hey man, talk your stuff, and then we're gonna talk about it. You might not like what we got to say though, but you might love it. So hey,
100%. And you know what? You know what's funny though? Like, I know when I start making good points and I actually start, leaving the jokes alone, a lot of the times people respond to me, yeah, look at you mad now. Just you mad because
and just regular talk, man.
Like,
I do that all the time.
and what people fail to, and I think what I'm gonna tell people, the followers of the 3-Man Weave right now is, hey, I'm never mad because
I'm social media, bro.
I don't know if y'all know, but I'm pretty good at, just I guess the new kids call it trolling, but I call it a whole bunch of sarcasm.
Yeah.
So I'm really good at sarcasm. So
satire, whatever you want.
Sarcasm, satire, and I have one of the driest sense of humors ever.
And here's the thing, right? Like all three of us, like me, you, Hill, like we're blessed. So it's like there's so much more that we could be upset about or worry about, but it's like there's no way that I'm finna be upset over a Facebook post or a status or someone not agreeing with me when I look at what's going on with the world. And then I think about my situation, like all I can do is it gives praise to the Most High because I'm blessed. So it's like I may respond like you said. I'm just literally being active in the group, and I'm the least one to respond because I'm busy outside of here. But when I do respond, it's literally in a group sense. Like, and then some people don't like what I say just because I'm telling it how I feel like it is. I'm not upset though, like AJ said. I'm definitely not even tripping. So if you're getting upset, just relax. It's social media, bro. Like, for those of us who grew up without it, y'all are the ones who understand that it's not that serious. But for some of our supporters who, social media has been a part of every fabric of your life, y'all are the ones, y'all got to be careful how upset you get what people say on here, bro. It's not real life.
I'm gonna let the floors in on a little secret, and I'm probably oversharing because I might have drank a little bit too much prior to the show. Just like Cannon said, me and Cannon, we do not get mad. Like, we're like, we'll laugh it off, we'll engage, and when we really trying to drive home a point, we'll start elaborating.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be ready to fight some of y'all.
Yeah,
he'll be ready to. He'll be like, "Yo, I'm sick of this motherfucker, man." He always, hey,
and I had to tell him, just like I just told y'all, bro. It's social media, bro. You may never see this person ever in your life, so why?
He'll has an occupation where it may be very easy for him to end up in some of y'all states. So what I will say is
that is very true.
We have this pull-up policy, and we have said, "Hey, bro, nah, don't worry about it." But hey, while we talking about a whole bunch of bullshit, it is something that is really, really important. That was mainstream news for a while. It died down.
Yep.
And now it's happened. Brittney Griner is free, y'all. And I think regardless of what you have to say, the trade was unfair, or there are other people that are waiting, all of that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad she's home. And say what you will, about who's over there and who, still hasn't come home, Marines and all that. Hey,
life is not fair.
As Issa Rae said, I'm rooting for everybody black, and I'm glad this black woman is home, bro.
Look, let me touch on this because I got one of my good homeboys. He made a post and he was saying, like, so he was talking to young people, like, if you're in high school, you're a senior or junior, you think about going to the military. He was basically saying, like, remember that an American soldier was left as a prisoner of war in Russia, but Brittney Griner was brought home. And I didn't even comment on that because, like, if that's his take, then that can be his take. But my take is that life is not fair. You feel what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate that the soldier was left over there because America's policy is normally we don't negotiate with terrorists. But what I will say was different about Brittney Griner is she had a lot of people in her corner, bro. She was probably more popular than that American soldier, which is unfortunate. But because she was popular, a lot of people wanted her home. Now, here's another side of it that people are not going to like. Joe Biden, regardless of what you think of him and what he's done earlier in his political career, this presidential tenure that he's been on, he has not done the norm. You see what I'm saying? 100%. He has done whatever he felt was right, and it has not agreed with a lot of people. So yes, America normally does not negotiate with terrorists. But you know what? Joe Biden felt like she deserved to come home. And under him, you know what? Maybe some more of those people will come home because it is what it is, man. Like, I'm not for letting criminals go and letting criminals loose, but at the same time, I understand politics, bro. And in politics, one hand wash the other. You don't get nothing for free.
100%.
And so if we wanted Brittney, in which this became like you said, this became a global thing. you know. And luckily for her, it got traction. And I'm glad that she's coming home. But what I will say this to Brittney, I hope you learned your lesson. Be careful with what you're doing when you are not protected by the United States Constitution. Even in the
100%.
United States, as a Black woman, Brittney, you are not afforded the full coverage of the United States Constitution.
Yeah. So
Be careful.
the United States Constitution is like your auto warranty when you Black. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, it's there. It's in writing. But it's some shit way down at the bottom that can negate all of that shit. And before I get going, hey George, hang tight. We gonna get to this in a second, and we want you to stay here too. So just hang tight. But what I will say is, a lot of people now are talking about, oh, but what about the Marine that's still staying over there? What about this? And
hey, get them home is what I said.
Get them home. But look, before Brittney Griner was over there, how many people actually even knew who Paul Whelan was?
And that is my point. And that is unfortunate. But Paul, unlike you, Brittney had a large following compared to you. Because I'm not saying that she has the largest following in the world, but compared to him, she had a lot of people calling, famous people. And other people vouching for her. People, she had Russian people in her corner because let's not forget, she actually went over there and played in the league over there. So she did actually have some Russian allies as well. So it's like she had people on a global scale in her corner. And hey, man, there's a million armadillos in the world. What's letting one out gonna do? And honestly, I truly think if this were me, and I don't want the U.S. government to come for me, but if this were me, this would be a whole Black Ops move. Like, yes, I would be letting him go to get Brittney back, but I would be marking that man within the next 36 hours, man.
Oh, 100%. Hey, SEAL Team 6. You know what I mean? Hey, this should be like in Blue Streak when Martin Lawrence crossed over the border, came back. El Perro, El Gato, Los Pantalones. Guess what? Go ahead across that border. Right. We go like a thief in the night. We're gonna be back at you. But
facts, bro.
This kind of ties into something like what you said, where you're talking about I think you said a teacher who was telling young high school students or whatever about joining the military, stuff like that. Last week, I talked about that Iran reporter.
I like how you did that.
Asking Tyler Adams about playing for his country.
Yeah.
One thing that I meant to say is
we should have championed him. We should have.
Yeah, we definitely should have, and we might get back to that. But one thing that I forgot to mention is when it comes to certain things like playing for a U.S. national team, serving in the military, stuff like that, a lot of Black people have a different reasoning to do those things. A lot of, like, some people do it, hey, for God and country, the old stars and bars, America, woohoo! Nah, most of us, we do this shit because it's our way. It's our way out. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Big facts.
People, a lot of Black people, we don't join the military because we love America. We join the military because we need a guaranteed check and we need some health insurance and we need these benefits and we need to do it to better our positioning. A lot of times when Americans are playing in the going out and competing in the Olympics or competing for a U.S. national team or something like that, doing anything that's representing America, we're not doing it because we just love America and we want to prove that America is the best. No, we doing it because this is our outlet. This is our way out. This is our escape. This is our way to better ourselves. This is our way to notoriety to better ourselves. This is we competing in the U.S. Olympics. We're not competing in the U.S. Olympics for America. We competing in the U.S. Olympics on the American team, so we can show the world that we are the best at what we do, so that we can get endorsements, we can get financial stability. So that's one of the things that I meant to mention when the reporter asked Tyler Adams, does he have any emotions towards competing for a country that has so much racism and
But
oppression.
he nailed his response when he
Oh,
said,
he nailed his response, and I felt
this
like
thing exists no matter what country. So it's like if I
100%.
could have been, it could have been Indonesia, bro, and I could have been playing for them. You could have asked me that same question. There's a sect or a group in Indonesia that gets discriminated on more than any other sect. I don't know anything about it, but it's like that everywhere in the world, bro. And so it's like I'm pretty sure if there's would have interviewed a certain group of people from a certain group of place, they can say that like you're not treated like a top class citizen where you from. And so what? Like you said, AJ, if I can come from not being treated like a top class citizen to being an athlete to bringing me on a global platform to where you're asking me about it, then I'll take that because like you said, this has been my vehicle. And this vehicle can allow me to separate myself from some of the inequities that the rest of my people face. I'm not saying it's good to be out of the rat race, but I'm just saying individually it may be, you know what I mean? And collectively it's not, but individually there are people who have triumphed well in America despite, you feel what I'm saying?
Of course.
That doesn't mean that they're blind to the fact, but like you said, that's them using their vehicle, their God-given talents to make a way out of this. So, and just kudos to him for not letting, because the reporter asked a very good question, because he could have very easily let the ills of society that take place in America, he could have let that all spill out right there. But I think he was so ingratiated by the opportunity, to better his circumstance. That is like, which is the American dream. Despite all of the powers that be and everything happens here, the American dream is possible, which is why people, fled to America from so many different other countries, because it ain't always possible in some of those other countries, man. And I've been in other countries before where now it's bad for us here, especially for people who look like myself and yourself. We, you know what I mean? We look like the N-word. I ain't
Why you
trying
had to say
to,
myself and yourself? Why couldn't you just say like us? What you trying to say? You trying to
because
separate us, my brother? You
nah,
trying to
but
see?
some
You trying to
black
do that
people,
internal
bro,
hate, that light skinned?
some black people give
I'm
off
just messing with you.
appearance.
I'm just messing with you.
I'm just saying, when a cop looks at you and they look at me, that's you. They see the average black male. You see what I'm saying? If there's sometimes more clean cut guy or a different type of guy or a different type of woman, which could blend better. But it's neither here nor there, because regardless of the fact, we're still up against it, and we're all just trying to do the best that we can and make it with what we got. And if that's going to be sports, then I'm gonna take it, and I ain't gonna let a reporter bait me into saying something that's crazy, because Iran, did I say it properly?
Yeah, as long
Plenty racism in Iran, bro. Plenty.
100%.
Nationalism, colorism, classism, all of that exists. So it's like, kudos to him for that response.
Let's go to our guy, Mark. He said, so what's the HBCU sports dream in the USA? And, I guess we can go ahead and just say that that's common in the night so far, because he segued us into our next spot. And one of the biggest topics in the group, one of the biggest topics in the media, Deion Sanders has accepted terms to be the University of Colorado's next football coach. And it's kind of put a divide in a lot of people. So, I think it's time to I hate that it happened literally right after our day, our normal pod day, because
Mhm.
what happens is you almost get a full news cycle. A lot of things get said, and some things you may hear from us may sound recycled. But one thing that I do like about it is we're able to kind of gather everything and
Yeah.
put everything
Yep.
into just kind of a final product for our fours to really digest and all of us to have a conversation on. And that's why a George the Groat, are you here? Because you've been giving my guy Hill a whole bunch of static.
and I don't know why.
I don't get it. Like
I don't know
why
why.
why are you adding him in
Yeah,
post
like that's
45 times a
yeah,
day?
that's crazy, bro.
Like like for what? To just say to say that, oh, he was never gonna stay at a HBCU. Why did you like what did you expect? HBCUs can't give him what he wants, or whatever the case may be. Like I don't see the purpose in that. And to kick this off, I think there's a misunderstanding
Hmm.
from what a lot of people, especially those of HBCU culture, are trying to express versus some who are saying it's Dion. Like, why would he ever stay at a HBCU? And what we're trying to express to you. We're not, nobody's mad at Dion
Big fact.
for leaving and taking a different job.
Nobody's mad at that. Get that clear.
What, and this is where I'm going to separate. This is where I'm going to not talk about anyone else, but what's in my head. My issue with Dion, one, is when he got that job, when he came into that position, the dream and the things that he was selling. Because matter of fact, you and I, Cannon, are in a really, really good position to talk about this, because not only are you and I HBCU grads, who we root for in college football?
Florida State, man.
La-
Seminoles, baby.
last year in the recruiting process, who was I talking about coming to Florida State and say, hey, he a dog? I would send y'all videos once a week about this motherfucker.
Your boy, man.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Big
And
dog.
on signing day, I said, yo, nobody can hear. Nope, nobody in the Florida State offices have heard from Travis Hunter. Nobody can get in contact with Travis Hunter. And there's speculation about Travis Hunter decommitting. And he won't, if he decommits, he's not going to go to Georgia. He's not going to go to Alabama. He's going to go to where his idol is coaching. I told you and Hill that.
Yep.
He was going to go to Jackson State. And so I like that move, because guess what he told Travis Hunter? Let's show them that we can do it here. Let's show them that HBCUs are not inferior. Let's show them that we don't have to go elsewhere. We can be here with us, amongst us, and we can do this with us. And so that's the issue. And that's why Cannon and Hill told me it was my fault. Because what did I say the moment Dion got the job?
That he was going to take a Power 5 job, man.
And I said, the move would be perfect. The move would be amazing if Dion was about bettering the HBCU life and showing that we could do it for us and that our top athletes can come here. Because I harkened back to the University of Missouri incident where they didn't like things that the president of the university was saying, and the players showed their power and what they could do by boycotting, And at this time, there was no NIL. Nobody was getting money legally. And they flexed and made change happen. And I said, why even have to go through that? Come to HBCUs where when you come here, ain't nobody gonna call you a nigga unless it's somebody that's like, hey, you my nigga. And I know we don't use that word on this podcast, but it's important at this point in time, because when you at these PWIs and these Power 5 schools and some of these Group of 5 schools, you are a commodity. When you at a HBCU, you family. And that's what I had an issue with, was him selling that HBCU dream that we've all talked about and making it about Deion. And all I said was, hey, if you are in it for Deion, that's fine. Don't sell the dream, though.
Yeah, but you called it. So, I mean, you called it. And so my issue is not necessarily the dream selling, because all coaches sell dreams.
No, but they don't sell this dream.
No, and they don't. That's the point I'm getting to. But it's more, it's to me, and the word I'm going to use is exploitation. So we can now see this whole move in hindsight. Prior to this, Deion Sanders has no head coaching experience on the college level.
Right.
He goes to Jackson State because he can get that job easily based off his name. 100%. He was trying to get head coaching jobs in Power 5 conferences prior, but he couldn't.
Willie Taggart got fired. Everybody wanted Deion.
Yep. And
Florida State brass, boosters, not even that, but the AD, and it ended up costing him his job. But the AD at the time, he said, I'm going Mike Norvell because he did not have the experience. And we'll get into that later. And so that's some things that I want to talk about too.
And so because of that, going back to this word exploitation, you feel like I can go to a HBCU, I can run it up. But then you have the rhetoric that you have. You start going into families' homes and you start telling them, trust me with your son's future, because the white schools are exploiting us. So don't go there and be exploited. Come here and be a family, and I'll take care of you, right? And now what you have, this is what I'm disappointed at Deion at. Let's get that clear. None of us are mad at him. By all means, like everybody saying, like, it's your choice. Like, I have contract decisions based on my life that I have to decide. I make the choice best for my life. So I'm never going to hate on another man for that. But here's the thing. You ask young men to give up opportunities that they had at PWIs. Now, some of these people gave up scholarships, came to play with you, and now you're going to a PWI. Everything that you told them not to do. And here's what an insult comes in for me. You told them don't go to a PWI because they're exploiting us. And you go to, I'm going to say, a breadcrumb of a Power 5. They threw you the least that you could get. You see what I'm saying? And you took that and you ran with that. Now, here's my thing. People, the number one question is, how long did you expect him to stay? First and foremost, let's start off with this. If you're a coach, right, and you bring in freshmen, I at least expect you to get them to seniors, because you didn't get fired. You were in good standing there. So the least you could do is get that first freshman that you brought in to a senior class and see him through. Then whatever you do, I could say, look, man, you gave 4 years. You tried to turn it around. Kudos. But back to the rhetoric that you were spewing that AJ talked about. The way that you were spewing that rhetoric, bro, I expected you to stay there long enough to establish the high school pipeline to HBCUs and also the coaching pipeline. You should have stayed there long enough to where Black coaches could have followed your trend, where we could have got big name coaches doing the same thing as you at HBCUs. We could have got a culture of players coming there, and people asking how long is this going to take? Realistically, it would have took 5 to 7 years. Realistically, and no one's saying that he had to do it because clearly he left. But here's the thing: this was his idea. We didn't create this idea. He sold us on this idea. So I understand it's a recruiting tactic, George, but are you willing to exploit people who look like you to recruit them? A man gotta have a code. Some of y'all, I know y'all watch The Wire, and there's your black. It's not a black movie, Mark, but there's your black tape.
Oh, we already got it. I did Blue Street.
Yeah, you did do Blue Street. But Omar said it best. Like, a man got to have a code, and in that particular scene, he's talking about like people shot his grandmother on Sunday, and when certain people came up, like Sunday was supposed to be off limits on the streets, and especially grandmothers should be off limits on the streets. So if you're willing to do that, then dang. You willing to come in my house, tell black families and lie to their face, bro, and have them give up their scholarships, and then you take a $5 million deal? I ain't mad at you, Prime, but that's bullshit, man.
My thing, so here, my entire issue, and the reason why I kind of saw through a lot of this is I knew that, so HBCU culture is a proud culture. We are very protective of our culture. And although there are some in our culture who are not as protective as some, like as most, a lot of us are. And from day one, I could tell that he wasn't here to ingratiate himself in HBCU culture. He wasn't trying to understand HBCU culture. He just saw an opportunity to exploit HBCU culture. And for me, I heard it in a lot of his rhetoric. But where I'm going to start is this. Cannon, that was a recruiting tactic. He was never going to stay. That's fine. If you were never going to stay, you are still Dion. You never had to, as Dion, you never had to come in and sell a dream. Because you can do that off of your name. You could come in and recruit off of your name and say, look, I'm coming in. I'm going to show them why I'm Dion and why these schools should have never passed over me. And that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you don't have to exploit your own people, because you know what you're going to get a lot of when you come to a sacred place of ours and tell them you're going to take a sacred place of ours to a new level. You're going to get a lot of support. So now you're exploiting us and using us for the sole purpose of bettering you.
Yeah.
And that is
that's my issue, man.
And that's where a lot of black people have problems. And that's where a lot of black people have gotten caught up. And that's the reason why, people in the movie, I can't remember the name of it. But Fred, in the movie with Fred Hampton, what was the name of the informant?
I can't remember his name, man, but it was Lakeith.
Yeah,
played him, man.
So that's what I'm saying, and so and I hate to take it there, but this is really what it's about, and this is really why a lot of us are mad. Is he exploited HBCU culture, a vulnerable culture, because a lot of people in the HBCU culture said, "Hey, look, y'all could come home to HBCUs and still excel, make it to the NFL, and show them why HBCUs are relevant, necessary, and still get everything that you want, and all of us benefit."
And Georgia says he's taking most of the people with him, the 3 and 5 stars. Listen, I don't care if you recruited a 2-star. He don't deserve to be done like that. And when you say most of them, listen, if one man left behind is one too many with the dream that you were selling. You see what I'm saying? Because here's the thing that hit home. What if that was your son, George?
George don't care about that.
If no. Because every person that I've asked to put themselves into this position have changed their outlook. So here's the thing. If your son had an offer to Alabama, Nebraska, or Wisconsin as a freshman, Prime came into your home last year, sold you on that. You believed in Prime. He's gone. Your son's a sophomore at Jackson State now. Thinking about the transfer portal when big names are going into the transfer portal. So now it ain't like it's the same situation when whatever school offered you that scholarship, because now, one, they filled that scholarship last year when you chose to go to Jackson State. And who's to know if that player became All-American or not? They might not even need your position now. So this is my thing. You ask young men who receive great opportunity based off their own blood, sweat, and tears. You ask them to throw that away and ride with you. And you rode out on them for money. And I ain't mad at you, but in my book, that's host status, man. And I don't care who you are. And then it's like, what I always say on here, I say, let's judge people by their character. Character is the type of stuff you've done over time, right? What type of person are you? Go and look up Prime Academy, man, and see what Prime did to the teachers that worked at Prime Academy, the students who went there. This is your MO. Just like the song says, it must be the money. And I ain't mad at you. Like, people think that we're mad because it must be the money. No, we're saying that because that's the reality. That's the truth. Prime did it for the money. It was never about HBCUs. It was never about kids that look like Prime. It was never about any of that, which is why his very own son is disappointed in him.
So here's my thing. And George, I'm going to address the two things that you've just said, and this is going to take us to the next part in this conversation. You say, I hear y'all, but that's what coaches do. Coaches sell dreams on all levels. These D2 schools do the same. I definitely get what y'all say. No, every coach in the SWAC would have took that money and better resources. And that's what we said at the beginning. None of us, like Ken and I, are not mad that he took the job.
Mm-hmm.
What we're mad at is the dream that he used. He used that. He did that. He didn't have to use that. You're using the plight of Black people to better yourself.
Because Eddie George is not using that to get people to go to
exactly. Eddie George, Hugh Jackson.
They're not using that tactic,
they're not doing that to get these kids to come to these HBCUs. And that's the issue. And that's how I know, like, that's the problem. You came here to make it all about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's like, so Colorado, taking the Colorado job over Jackson State and saying you either get terminated or elevated.
That's big cap, bro.
That rubbed me the wrong way.
That was big cap right there. Because you weren't going to get terminated, bro.
Because at Jackson State, you could have wrote on a piece of paper and said, hey, this is how long I want to be here.
And that's what they would have made happen, bro.
And they would have given you that. A lot of people are out here saying, oh, he couldn't, like, they gave him this they gave him this contract and that's it. They gave him a contract and it's far exceeded what any other coach in history has gotten at Jackson State within their means. Yeah. And it's like, at this point in time, it's like Jackson State, they did do what they could do to give you the resources that they could, because Jackson State only has so much.
Mm-hmm.
What people fail to realize is, and people are talking about, Colorado is this, like, Colorado's a Power 5 job. Colorado is this, like, so why wouldn't he take it? Yeah, Colorado
Ain't
is.
none of us.
Hold on,
Ain't
hold on,
not one
wait.
person. Go ahead.
So Colorado, of course, Colorado is going to have more resources as far as money goes. Jackson State has like 7,000 students total, with I think like a $60 million endowment. Colorado has like almost 40,000 undergrads with a $2.1 billion endowment.
And with all of that, we ain't never ever talked about them on this show prior to now.
Hold on, give me a second. And Colorado, everyone's talking about how it's a no-brainer for him to take this Colorado job. Like, why? Like, of course he would do this. No, there's a lot of Power 5 jobs that I'd be like,
they suck.
You know what? No. There's a lot of power. There's a lot of Power 5 jobs that I'd been like, you know what? That makes sense. Of course you would do that.
Yeah.
This ain't one. This ain't one of them.
This is the worst.
And
the worst.
And this goes like, so since this announcement has come up, because you know me, I'm a 100, like I'm college football to the death of me. So this move by Deion shows me he didn't understand the fabric of college football. Mm-hmm. How he came in and sold the dream at Jackson State. Yes, that was beautiful. It was great. He got a lot of people. I wasn't one of them because I know college football.
Yeah.
And then him accepting this job further proved to me he did not know college football. You know why he didn't know college football? Because you're taking over a program in a place that has to compete. Wait.
He didn't get Mayor Hill though. I want to make that clear. We just wanted to believe, bro.
Yeah, I get you. But he took over a program. It's a Power 5 program, but this is one of the worst Power 5 jobs you can take.
Complete
because this shows that Deion does not know the college football landscape. He feels
like he can Jackson State it. That's why he took it.
But you can't.
Because, I know, bro.
Because Colorado is nowhere near fertile recruiting grounds. If you look at all of the good college football teams in the country, Power 5 or not, they are in fertile recruiting grounds, or they're close.
That's his thing.
Colorado is not.
I don't think he can Jackson State it either.
Right now, because he's there, the first year, maybe two, he will get some good names because he's Deion, especially in the transfer portal.
But it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough.
Jackson, Mississippi is one of the poorest cities. Mississippi is one of the poorest states in America. Jackson State also, Mississippi also is still one of the better producing states of college football talent in the country. Colorado, absolutely not. And in college football, it is all about winning your home state.
Yeah.
But when you are not in a fertile state, most of those teams don't win. The most fertile states in America, I hate to use the word fertile. One of the most let me change that. The most talent rich states in America for football: Florida, Texas, California, Virginia, Ohio.
Don't even sleep.
No, so I'm trying to go in order, but it fluctuates. So it's Florida, Texas, California, Georgia. Then it would go sometimes it'll go from I said Georgia. Then it'll go from Ohio at number 5. Then you have Alabama and Ohio. They flip flop. Then you have Louisiana. Then you have, I said Alabama. Then you have,
it ain't Colorado, man.
It's not.
So it's
so where I'm going with that is Colorado hasn't been good since Cordell Stewart
Yeah.
for a reason. Because in those places,
They've had a couple good years, but
they have like so in the in
they
those
haven't
in those places
haven't won anything.
in those places that
Oh,
aren't the recruiting hotbeds, you have to import talent and you also have to get a great coach to maximize the talent that you have. So yes, Dion in these first couple of years, he might out recruit Lincoln Riley, but Lincoln Riley has proved,
I
hey,
doubt
I doubt it
he's a
too because you know why?
commodity, man.
Lincoln Riley has had a Heisman caliber quarterback for how many years?
Every year.
Oregon is one of the best recruiting, spots in the country. UCLA, they still like, I don't care what you got to say. Chip Kelly, he can still use, hey, guess what? I got Southern California. Utah has still been, in the conversation since Urban Meyer left. And this is another one thing that I have to say. Dion, you proved that you can win with extreme talent discrepancies in the SWAC. But can you actually coach? We don't know that. And that's what you're gonna have to prove. And that's what you're gonna have to prove at the University of Colorado. Can you coach? And I'm not saying that you can't, and I'm not saying that I want you to fail.
But here's the thing: even if you could, even if you were an elite Power 5 coach, that job is going to take some.
Bro, they were 1-11.
You could send one of the best coaches in there, and I don't know if they're going to be turned around in 3 years, man. So it is what it is. But go ahead, can you post George's last comment for me? I want to shout him out for at least being a good sport. He said, "I'm at work, fellas. I'll watch the rest later. Love the convo. Tell Hill I wanted to talk to him too. LOL more. Flowers to the 3-man weave, and don't take my trolling too serious. We never will, bro. Good convo. And kudos to you because, like we said, he been hitting us all week saying we need to talk about this.
Right.
Regardless if the topic is old or not. He wanted to know our takes on it. You got our takes on it. That's how we feel about it.
I got one more take. And it's to go with some of the stuff that shows that Dion really didn't know the culture that he was getting himself into. So I'm going to play this clip and then I'm going to kind of do my URL, Briz Rothstein. No, my Chef Trez. Sorry, Hill. I'm a little drunk. I'm going to do my URL Chef Trez rebuttals.
Play against Notre Dame. Appalachian State got $1,500,000 to play against Texas A&M. Georgia Southern got $1,400,000 to play against Nebraska. Now let's get to us. FAMU got $450,000 to play against North Carolina. Southern, thank God, you got $760,000. I like that. Alabama State $590,000 for UCLA. You probably exhausted that in the flight going all the way across the country. Alabama A&M $300,000 as well to play against UAB. If we're gonna get our butt kicked, shouldn't it be worth it? How in the world are we selling for the peanuts and the little minute droppings that they're giving us when everybody's darn near $500,000-$600,000? Should we get together and huddle up as a HBCU and say we're not playing these beat down games unless we get this? Now, don't go up under it. You can negotiate above, but have the level be $750,000 or $1 million.
So Dion was talking about the amount of money that HBCUs, specifically in the SWAC and MEAC and some of the other, FCS division get paid to play, some of these early season We're the Cupcake games. And he's saying that, Georgia Southern, Appalachian State, and who else did he say? He said one more school. Appalachian State, Georgia Southern, and one other school, but they were getting paid like $1.5 million, $1 million, and stuff like that to go up to
bigger programs. Like what you want from them.
That's my point. The schools that he named that were getting paid $1 million, $1 million more.
They've been around, bro.
Those are FBS schools that he's mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these HBCUs are FCS schools that he's mentioning that are getting paid $500,000. Southern got paid $750,000. that is far and beyond any other school in the FCS that is going to get
Mhm.
that. Because guess what? Florida State.
And
Hold on,
they
wait.
negotiated it, bro.
No, not even that necessarily.
They
Like,
did. It was like,
but the reason why they're able to get that is that they can prove
yeah,
that they deserve that. Because guess what? Florida State played Jacksonville State, another FCS school, not Jackson State, but Jacksonville State.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State paid them $400,000.
Yeah.
So that is in line
With what they can provide.
exactly.
Someone's coming to see that game. I can't pay you more
Well, hold on,
than
wait.
what the TV companies will pay me for this game, though.
The
Realistically,
the University of Albany, they got paid $500,000 to play 10th ranked Baylor this year. The University of Albany, they have some good players. Jared Verse came down to Florida State. Now he's a projected first round pick. But here's the kicker. Are you familiar with Missouri State?
mm-hmm.
In the FCS? Missouri State is perennially in the FCS playoffs. This year, they were the number 5 team in the FCS coming into the season. Number 5 in the nation in the FCS. They got paid by number 10, Arkansas, to play earlier this season. They got paid $450,000. Every team that I've named has been less than Southern University.
But it goes back to my point of why that whole rant by Prime was irrelevant, because first and foremost, it's about negotiation. I hate when people count other people's money. You can't go to your job and say, pay me what Brian makes. They're going to say, how do you even know what he makes? And they're going to say, unless you can come in here with a certified piece of paper that says he makes that, we don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
No, and above that,
you got to worry about yourself. And that was Prime's number one, his number one fault. And this whole thing was worrying about other people's money. Now you're at a Power 5, you got this money. I hope you can account for it, because that's all that you wanted, man. Be careful what you ask for, because now you got the money, and with the money is going to come the scrutiny, because no one cared about what you did at Jackson State. Even
it was only
losses, they
was
praised
only
you, bro.
Because nobody talked about him getting his ass kicked by South Carolina State last year.
Yeah,
nobody talked about that.
Yeah, so it's like they loved you there. So now when you come out and you lose week 1, bro, they're gonna be having, and don't lose 3 or 4 in a row. You might not make it out the season. And
it's Prime the one to turn this around.
Yeah,
Prime doing it Power 5.
Running back to HBCU, because and once they realize that thing, the Power 5's gonna say, we ain't never seen you do nothing. The only thing you ever done is Jackson State, and you ain't like you won the FCS championship or anything. So it is what it is.
And remember, a lot of people talking like, oh, he did Jackson State a favor, but let's not forget Jackson State did him a favor, because he never had any like I said, he never had any.
That was my number one point.
He never had any head coaching experience.
You used them for that.
Your own alma mater, when they were in one of the worst droughts of their existence.
Still wouldn't hire you.
They didn't give you a chance because they didn't say, like, you didn't show them that you can prove it.
Yeah.
Not even at Power 5 level football, but just FBS level football.
Yeah.
So they went with Mike Norvell.
Yeah.
A guy out of Memphis University.
Thank God, because I was against that hire too at the time. But
who told you?
Hey, AJ, man. Hey, you were right. You said, bro, he's gonna. But you also told me Willie Taggart.
but it take you back to what did I say? Nobody's here to clean up controversy, but who they gonna hire when it's time to do a cleanup?
No, absolutely.
So, but my thing about it is, and like I said, we only giving y'all this Deion conversation because we weren't able to give it to y'all during the week. But my issue with Deion is, if you gonna leave for HBCU, leave it for a good job.
Yeah,
this was not a good job.
And that's what Mark said too. Shout out to the Fours, man. Mark said
Yeah.
that same thing in the
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah. Shout out to our guy Mark. Like, this was not a good job. The jobs that he was rumored with in tandem with Colorado were USF, the University of South Florida, and the University of Cincinnati. And both of those jobs, albeit not being Power 5 schools, but Group of 5 schools, are
He
better.
wanted Power 5.
But those are better jobs
Yeah.
than the University of Colorado. And say what you want, those like the University of Cincinnati for certain could pay him what he's about to get at the University of Colorado. You know why?
Bro, he don't need all of that money.
And that's the point. If you don't need all of the money, you should have waited. Because you know what? So let me finish this. The University of Cincinnati, University of South Florida are better jobs than the University of Colorado. The University of Cincinnati is a better job because they're going to the Big 12 next year. So you're going to get that Big 12 money. The recruiting is better because in Colorado, where are you recruiting from? You go recruit. Your recruiting footprint is in the Pac-12.
He got Barstool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care about his coaching salary, bro.
I don't either. I'm just talking about recruiting. I'm talking about acquiring. I'm talking about acquiring players.
Bro,
Acquiring players is going to be easier in Cincinnati than it will be in Colorado because guess what? In Cincinnati, you have recruiting hotbeds of Ohio.
But that's my point. He don't care about the recruitment, bro. He went for the biggest bag. But Colorado offered him the most money. That's why he chose them. It have nothing to do with anything else. And that's my point when I said about character. Deion has showed us time and time again that he's the money man. Like in the draft when they interviewed him, he told the Detroit Lions, like he said, like, y'all gonna have to put me on layaway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can't afford me. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that he was saying as a teenager. Like he had a sob on campus. He had the gold plated prime necklace. Like he has been a money guy from the beginning of time. And does that make him a bad guy? No, I'm not saying Prime's a bad guy, but let's not act like you didn't take this job for the money. All of these other reasons, I don't even care about. You took it for the money, and now you're going to pay for it because, like I said, with the money, the scrutiny is going to come. Now they're really going to see, like AJ said, can you really coach? And you're going to have a short leash, my friend, a very short leash. 3 in a row, you're going to be on a hot seat. So I'm waiting to see next year, man. So
right. And so Miss King, she has joined the chat. She said the portal has allegedly 1,000 players entering it. And a lot of people who aren't really tapped in to the college football landscape think, oh, these dudes is all looking at Deion. Nah, the portal get crazier and crazier and crazier every year. Last year, there was a total of 4,000 players, a little bit over 4,000 players that entered the portal. The portal is going to get crazy. Deion only got 85 scholarships. So regardless of how many players are going into the
some
portal,
of those are gone. They just signed them. Like some of those scholarships already been given out. He might not even have 40
right
left.
So even if Deion cuts his entire team, he's only going to be able to bring in 85 players,
if that.
And say in college football, this is not just I'm like this ain't like the Rams. You can't just do a whole bunch of free agency to build sustained success in college football. You're going to have to start developing and recruiting. College football is always about recruiting. So if D can't get high school talent in there, which he will be, but he's going to have to be able to get sustained high school talent. And you know how you get sustained high school talent? Sustained winning. So he may excel in the portal this first year, maybe even the second year. But he's got to show improve.
He's gonna get some portal hits, that ain't gonna be big for Colorado this year. Like people are bugging, like you said, this is college football. Like, even if you get a bunch of people from the portal, don't mean that they're good. There's a reason why people are in the portal. Because they can't get playing time where they're at. Number one. So it's like, miss me with the portal. I don't care about the recruiting or none of that. Like I said, this was a money grab. We're going to see how good you can recruit. We're going to see how good you can coach when you're dealing, when you can't sell that dream that you sold, when you can't say, come on, black players, come here. Because now black players is like, if I'm going to go to a PWI, I want to go to a cool one. And I definitely ain't going to just go and follow a coach when I know now that coach will leave me.
And
So that's what you've already told. So now when you recruit, you can no longer go in there with the I care about your son, the I'm going to be here. That ain't going to buy me. Like, it's going to be, what can you offer me NIL wise? If I'm the parent, what can you offer us? If you ain't talking chicken, show us the money, Dion, or we walking, bro. So how much NIL does the boosters at Colorado have for the people in the portal? That's really what it's going to come down, because you've told the kids it's all about the money, man.
And that was a great point, and that was one of the points that I definitely want wholeheartedly agree with. Another one of my points is, like I said, he don't know the college landscape, and guess what Dion did to further prove that? It's been rumors that Mike Zimmer is going to go to Colorado. I don't know if he's going to be his defensive coordinator or what. Mike Zimmer don't know college football. Mike Zimmer don't recruit, and it's exactly, and it's the same mistake that Herm Edwards made when he went to Arizona State and he brought in Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
Bring in an old NFL coach. These kids ain't worried about that. You need to bring someone in who is going to be able to relate to them, tell them the things that they need to hear, to bring them on campus, and then start to groom them. So, Jarvis. So Jarvis says he's in the big leagues now with those boosters, and the alumni is definitely donating. That is a great point, because at the University of Colorado, just like all these other PWIs,
I gotta ask Jarvis a question.
Hold on, wait. So just like all these other PWIs, they've had a stable foundation of a booster base. HBCUs don't have that, because HBCUs were created on us not being able to go to these schools, us not being able to get these jobs that people are getting, and us not being able to own. So we've, tried to catch up and do those things. And as far as the things that we produce and the people that we produce,
he making sense.
Okay, not in prime saver. Okay,
because I was about to say, like, where were those boosters last year? 1-11. Like, am I supposed to believe that all of a sudden that these boosters are gonna pony up? No. Boosters at your school don't change whether the coach, like, if y'all ever watch Blue Chips, that will really explain to you how booster programs work. And the programs don't care about the coaches, they don't care about the players. Like, they would hope that you will win while you're in there, but it doesn't matter to them. It's our money. We're going to spend it how we see fit. So it's like, you could be Deion Sanders. Just because you come in here and say, like, I'm going to run it up, don't mean I'm going to give you $10 million to go NIL crazy with. Like, no, the budget is $2 million. You better make it work. And the budget was set before you came here. And now that we paid you $5 million, the budget might be even smaller for what we have for them. So,
but guess what? They may donate to Deion. They may give him every opportunity. But if it don't produce the results that they are expecting early on,
then they'll be gone like that.
And it's like
water off like that.
Then they'll be like, why are we paying him all of this money when it's not that much of a difference than what we've been getting? We might as well get, a little bit more bang for our buck for not someone so expensive. And guess what? Power 5 schools do
But the
not
thing
like.
is,
Hold on,
now,
wait.
they
Power
have to
5,
pay all their coaches now.
Power 5 schools do not like hiring black people. The last 3 coaches at the University of Colorado have been African American.
Yep.
So guess what? Yeah, Dion, you are Dion. But this ain't like one of them schools like, hey, let's give him a chance. They be like, hey, we've literally done our, services when it comes to hiring
But
minorities.
they've also done themselves a disservice because now you brought in a coach with no Power 5 experience and you pay him $5 million. So now if I'm a coach with any Power 5 experience, $5 million is the minimum floor for me. Like, I'm talking 6 or 7 when I come in. If this prime thing don't work and you want, and I don't care what color he is, if he got,
I see you
if
got
he got
it.
Power 5 experience, he's coming in the door at $7 million at least, because bro, I have more than what you offered prime $5 million for. If we're going off resumes, and I actually got some Power 5 wins on my resume. So it's like both parties have basically are dancing with the devil right now, and the only thing that can save them is wins. So Prime, I hope you can pull it off. I'm never gonna hate on a black guy, so I hope you can pull it off. But I stand by what I said. Disappointed in you because you sold that dream, and you playing with children's future, not children's. You're playing with young men's future. Let me correct that.
Don't use the plight of black people to sell your dream,
man.
yo.
I don't like
That's
that.
That's all I ask, bro. Don't use the plight of black people to sell your dream and better yourself. Like, I'm all for you. I'm all for you winning, big dog. But
All for you winning.
you ain't got to do that. So
and
that's
Judge,
episode.
Way to get the bag in, Judge. Huh? 9 more years, lock it up, baby.
It's all right. We about to re-sign Otani. Just watch. We gonna get Otani back next year.
Right, he about to be a Yankee too.
Shit, me. But that's episode 178. I'm AJ. That's Cannon.
Yes, sir.
Hey, make sure y'all give us some suggestions on topics for next episode. 179. I need some DMs, some Facebook requests, or some emails at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com about some motherfucking questions on episode 179. And we gonna see y'all next week on Thursday at 7:00.
Yeah.
And we out.